Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's talk about another third prayer of Maharishi Yajnavalkya. MRITYUR Ma Amrit Gamaya. This is very well known third prayer of Maharishi Yajnavalkya, and all the three come from Brihad Upanishad. Two I have already spoken about: truth, untruth to truth, and then darkness to light. Two things have been very clearly seen. Without the truth, without the light, without education, nothing can be achieved. But here comes another third one. Can death lead to immortality? He is praying that let my death lead to immortality. And I do believe there is a lot hidden into this concept, which is respect to many people in the world. But there is something which I am going to talk in this concept, primarily two people who have been Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. I have written, right, lead me from death to immortality, then divine grace of wishful death. Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. When come to that question, something which comes to my mind is Sri Bhishma Pitama, the grandfather of Mahabharata. Whole Mahabharata starts from that concept that he is the crown prince who is going to rule Hastinapur and Mahabharata as such. But reason given by the father to have another wife and another children, leading to the whole concept when he takes oath that he will not work for against the children of the king, and then he lives for the rest of his life to make sure he remains a crown prince, but he does not become a king, but he protects Hastinapur for generation till it finds the rightful heirs to take care of Hastinapur or Bharat as such. This concept very clearly, the person's whole objective was Hastinapur should become a powerful kingdom, and people who are very wise and effective can make that country prosperous is the objective of Bhishma Pitama. And in this picture you can see Krishna, you can see Arjuna, who is getting Ganga water for Bhishma Pitama when he is laying on that. He lays in that position for 58 days till Hastinapur is under the rule of Pandavas. Yudhishthira takes over. You can see all the five Pandavas and other wise people in this particular picture very, very clear. And I like this picture because someone who has the wish to see through, that man, the person becomes very wise person. And I do believe if you have an objective of achieving something, you have the free will and you are also given the wisdom to stay put till you achieve that particular concept. So that way Bhishma Pitama, to see the Hastinapur, is ruled by the dharma, by Pandavas, and not other than that. Although he has stood by Kauravas, but actually he is waiting for someone who is prosperous and religious, spiritual and perfect king to take care of the whole land under Yudhishthira. I think that is something which I do admire. Now the come to question, who's the second person I have in mind? And that's me. And I do know I have also been born with Akshay Patra, like Krishna gave it to Draupadi, to take care of the food needs of the Pandavas, number one, in exile. Similarly, Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, that I have come here for rectifying all the education of the world, give the world the divine mathematics of Divyank, rectify all the defects of all the 64 arts, talk of the core which should be taught to every student completely. With that objective when I am born, and I am leading towards that perfection of knowledge, data, information, knowledge and wisdom to impeccable wisdom since my childhood, with the kind of records I have spoken about. If that is the objective with which I have been sent, with the blessing of Akshay Patra, that I don't have to worry about money, then Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, that I can live as long as I want to live and achieve that Divyank and make things popular, at least available for everyone in the universe. So my objective is rectify all the defects of education by and large. It is a universal phenomenon, not a kingdom in India, but knowledge of the entire universe, all the people, every part of the country should have perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry and all the 64 arts in tune with Divyank for the first time in the 2015. To achieve that, I have to live like a perfect person without any difficulty in physical health, wealth, wisdom or happiness. So I become the second person very consciously. How did I know? Where did I talk about it? You are going to see. Now, Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, as I told you, is the divine grace for wishful death. That is a free will given to the person who is in tune with universal consciousness. In other words, who is fit to be a Brahman in tune with Brahman. And this is the concept which is embedded in Mrityu Ma Amrit Gamaya. We are bound to die one day. I agree. He also died. I am also going to die. But the question is, he waited death till he achieved the objective of good kingdom of Hastinapur as such. And I want to live for seeing the word, the perfect knowledge as a parallel available in the world which is not available today. So that is what it is all. And I can tell you, this is also written in Shastra, an enlightened soul who is in tune with Aditi within the self and also to Gayatri, Durga and Iccha Mrityu others, who is doing everything perfectly, truthfully, honestly, is totally learned person, can change things the way he wants. But changing things is also limited to only one siddhi. And I am aware I will not use siddhi for anything which can be done by individuals. So my siddhi is only for Akhandata. That's the third Vardhan which I got when I was doing my thing very clearly. Akshay Patra to take care of my monetary benefits. Iccha Mrityu Vardhan to live perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy life. And Akhandata to have the knowledge of all the 64 arts in my hand so that I can talk about the concept clearly to the world, and till it is achieved, I am going to live happily as an individual person, making my answers clear in different forms which world can follow. I know very well it's going to take some time before the entire world knows, because I do not want to get into any problem with anybody. So I am talking only the perfect model. I am not talking of the dynamic peripheral work which is multidimensional. There are lot of things are there, relative truth, but I am talking the absolute truth which is Divyank. I stick to that. So I am not likely to get into any problem, because people can continue to be whatever the work they are doing for their economics. It's not at all my will. My will is only to leave behind the knowledge of all the 64 arts with Divyank step by step, and leave the world to find wisdom with the new research, so that knowledge of mathematics is divine mathematics, not man-made concept. Similarly, physics becomes perfect, chemistry becomes perfect, biology becomes perfect, and thereafter all the knowledge which is available is without any deficiency. Even the research scholars do not have to find fault with the existing thing and go on. We should bring it to that level. There is no more fault left at all. And that is my statement, and that is what I have written down. I was born with Iccha Mrityu Vardhan to do this only. Now let me share the connected events of my life, so that how I reached this level and how did I get awareness to this level, because everything happens in time as we move on. Now, as I say, first 4 decades of my life I have already explained, but here is a summary represented as a prefix are Bhumika. I have an exemplary academic education and profession. My CV, academic, professional, otherwise, is literally unique in itself. There is no need for me to talk. But at the same time, during first 4 decades, I was not aware of the meticulous guidance of voice of silent soul from within my body. Let me tell you very clearly. And I thought I was a devotee of Mata Vaishno Devi, and she gave me the answer as such, and I was giving from inside. But I did not know there is a voice inside which is giving me the knowledge. And that is something which has happened in many people, including me. As a matter of fact, everybody who's listening to inner consciousness, which is Aditi, who is like a godly person, perfect person who does not listen to Aditi within the self, the soul, has all the imperfection comes up which I see in the world. So my request to everybody is start listening to Aditi within you so that you become godly. That's it. Then I also make it clear nothing happens in one life. Even to come to talk of this, you should take many lives. And I know I have taken many lives. I have come to this stage with the knowledge which I had received. Now I am in a position to talk about it very clear because I experienced that. So in one life is not something, but since the effects of all the work done in all the lives is in the Karna Sharira of Aditi itself, and that has helped me to understand what kind of work I had done earlier. So anybody doesn't need to feel bad about it because there is always a beginning. Things would happen in time. Nothing happens before time, and past leads to present, present will lead to the future. This is a journey which we all know about it. So what we need to achieve that pinnacle, because we have to remove all the difficulties or deficiencies one by one from our education. I still believe if you are looking for money, go up Saraswati, perfect Saraswati, Lakshmi will automatically come to you, and that's it. And the process of my 40 years of work, maybe time had come for spiritual science research, so it has to have an event with things happen for 40 years unconsciously, subconsciously, and now is going to be conscious. As I told you, initiation simplified Kundalini was 1st January 1991, almost like 10:30, when I was initiated into this, and I felt the movement from Manipura chakra, upper abdomen to between the eyes beautifully, as you're going to see in this particular picture. As a result, I realized I could feel the movement of Kundalini within my body, and also the nadis and the chakras were very clear within my body, and that made me aware for the first time, experiencing Aditi or Kundalini or Antaratma within the body and moving through the channels in the body to come to Agnya chakra. These two combination was amazing thing. That's it. I have already spoken about it. This is enough for the time being. Then later, after 2 years of studying all the knowledge of Tantra, chakras, nadis and other things, and I found all the knowledge was deficient. That's the time I decided that I go for training program in a yoga center where I learn yogasana for 1 month, pranayam for 1 month, tratkam for 1 month, and meditation for 1 month. Every day for 1 hour in the morning, 5:30 to 6:30 was thing. After 4 months of training, beautiful experience, there's no doubt about it. There was a meditation technique of seeing light in Muladhara chakra, then raising it to Swadhisthana chakra, from Bhumi to water, to Agni, Nabhi, to Vayu, Anhata, to Vishuddhi, energy. So all the 5 stages I experienced. By the time I reached Vishuddhi, I just saw myself walked in a white back of light, you can see. That was the first experience of light outside, and I call it Shunya or Sunya, the beginning of the whole concept of knowledge itself. Dot to circle to sphere is what is the origin of the universal consciousness. I think that was phenomenal experience within self. Then next, over a period, I learned chakras, nadis and other things. I started experimenting more within me, more sitting in meditation, learning pranayam beautifully, then moving step by step with the energy itself as was moving. That's the time I found myself experiencing 3 nadis and also Vahani Nadi within myself, and how the energy from bottom through Vahani Nadi, cerebrospinal fluid outside, came up to the head, was a beautiful experience of major nadis outside right up to Sahasrara Chakra, was amazing. That's the time you literally see the light inside in a very enclosed form, and that concept is very clear in Sat Chakra Nirupana itself. But Sat Chakra Nirupana talks of only 6 chakras, but inside you have Vani Nadi, you have Surya Nadi, you have Chandra Nadi, then Brahma Nadi, and then you have Vaikuntha. I think that classification, I don't think many people have really seen. Sat Chakra Nirupana classification is very different, and this was my experience of light within. Then 4 days program among Swami Sukhbodhananda's near Bangalore was very intense program of lot of yogasanas, lot of pranayam, lot of meditation, lot of discussions, and I think after end of 4 days this picture was taken. You can see the aura around my body, and also you can see the light on my head. I think that was amazing thing that my camera Canon A1 could take this picture very clearly. And I am grateful to Swami Sukhbodhananda for giving me the knowledge of these chakras, particularly Ajna Chakra and its 7 circles was very clear. Then come to the question of coming back, and by the time I had applied for PhD work in 93 and 2 years of meditation, learning EEG and other things with eyes open and eyes closed, which I learned after studying Maharishi Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, was very clear. Maybe for the first time in a PhD research and yoga, somebody is doing EEG, electroencephalogram, the brain electrical activity, with the eyes closed and eyes open simultaneously. First eyes closed, then opening the eyes for 2 minutes, and then studying the study of the tram. I think it was enormous, but I am surprised to see, although my work was started in 93, 30 years ago, and PhD was also done 2001, which is also more than 20 years. Nobody has tried that concept at all. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It was my design, meant for me. I think I'm very happy. But then I realized that how this Kundalini or Antaratma Aditi got inside Brahma Nadi. As I told you, the first is a Vani Nadi. Then Brahma Nadi is the central canal within the spinal cord, and there is a bridge between Muladhara Chakra and Brahma Nadi is the Brahma Granthi. It had to bring Brahma Granthi, and energy lead into the ventricle and rose up to the ventricles of brain, which is the third eye. As a result, Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali was converted into 9th Chakral Yoga and then internalized at 10 as Akhand Yoga itself. I think that was a beautiful experience within myself in 1995 when I saw Aditi with my own eyes, third eye, pineal gland opening up, taking you to thalamus, and then taking you to occipital region, visual region, to see the Atma in a dynamic form. That's also time I realized most of the people can see only 2 dimensions, length and breadth. Even seeing a third dimension is difficult. But I could see 10 dimensions simultaneously within my brain, in the ventricles of the brain. Even today I see that that was the learning of something, that we have eyes which are more powerful than even electronic microscope. I think that was phenomenal experience to see, reach to much higher level in 95. That is the one which made me to ask the question why I am able to see this when others are not able to do. The question, now I am talking about the normal EEG I told you, neuroscientists of the world, under 100 years of experience, at 10.5 hertz alpha frequency in the posterior brain, when mind is at rest, eyes are closed, no alpha wave is seen in the rest of the brain, and on thinking alpha replaced by the beta, and after opening no alphas are seen. This is alpha block, a desynchronizes summation of neuroscientists of the world, and this is what is called normal EEG. But in my case, I could produce abundant of power of in concentration on top of the head as a samadhi after opening the eye was almost phenomenal. But all the control subjects which are down, all the experts of 20, 30, 40 years of experience in meditation, otherwise they could not do that. They were just like common people. I was the only person who could do it out of all the subjects of thousands of people which I studied for my PhD work. I was only, this is one of the copy of my PhD work which I have represented. See the power, total power, and see the component of alpha power with eyes open is a phenomenal change never seen in the history of mankind anywhere. That turned out to be an amazing benefit for me, my research guide, and the people who are connected with it. I think we moved on to very next level. Then this particular concept is very given in testimonial by my guide, Professor A. Namachoyan, who said, she has known me for 4 decades. He was my professor in Madras Medical College. He taught neuroscience to me in Madras Medical between 69 and 70. And after 30, 40 years, he has known me clearly and said, I have done this on my own concept, and my work was considered highly commendable by all the examiners all over the world. I think that was phenomenal. You can read it leisurely. Then this particular achievement was unique, and I thought I'll ask Mata Vaishno Devi what is the scientific answer, because I cannot find the answer because it's not available anywhere. Yeah, exactly the opposite of what is written in the world. And whatever written the neuroscientists in the world, I'm just doing exactly the opposite. And how can I explain this? So I asked a question to Mata Vaishno Devi for a scientific answer. And the answer is that your voice of silence, that you come back home, you listen to this voice, everything will reveal to you step by step as you move on. And first instruction are to make a charitable trust. So I made Akhand Foundation on Vijayadashmi, October 3rd, 1995, got it registered, and then I was asked to make a logo for it, and within 10 steps I was led to make this particular logo. And when I made this logo, the Antaratma, Aditi, the Kundalini asked me, stop it, you have done it. And I found it very simple. He said, no, this is the graphic presenter Gayatri Mantra. I went and learned, picked up 10 books the very next day. When I studied whatever 10 books were talking about, I could explain with this. Then I made a logo and a card and gave it to everybody, explaining the concept. Everybody appreciated it. And I got it registered. Then over a period, after finishing my PhD, the first book I published was Akhand, an essence of universal consciousness, which is published by Vikas Publishing, New Delhi. This is again divine plan, but same concept you can see in the middle, but improvised to this state which literally had come to Divyank level. The outer is 22 by 21, which is the solar system. I realize that solar system is made of 21 parts. To go beyond the 22nd part, and that is first stage of creation, all the Upanishads talk about it. Instead of 7 chakras, I talked about 10 chakras, connected it with endocrine gland, autonomy. I think that was an amazing thing to see. If you have your autonomic nervous system under your control, endocrine system your own control, 100 trillion cells at control, you will be healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. For a person who is looking at Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, he should be in tune with every component within the cell, and particularly autonomic nervous system, endocrine gland system, which help very well in homeostasis is required. I think that knowledge and gave me the concentration of complete perfection of all the 10 integrants and autonomic nervous system and all the energy within me as such. Also I realized that evolution is about a sympathetic energy which is throughout the body, and parasympathetic is rest, digest, conserve. So my autonomic nervous system knowledge, endocrine system knowledge slowly and started being very well in my thing, and I started talking more about these things connected with chakras, nadis and other things. Now having done that, then suddenly way back 2002, before my PhD was complete, my first son went to America for MS program in New Jersey Institute of Technology in 2000. Second son also decided to go to States. after statistics in Loyola College, in Loyola College, both studied in Rishi Valley School for MS PhD program, for which he was rewarded 15 lakhs every year as a stipend itself. When both my sons left to America, I didn't have to sponsor their education in America, so things became very clear. And these people also decided to move on to America to find their venture on their own, and they were already 21 years plus, mature enough to take care. And once they left India, my job was very, very clear. So after everything was done, my son's thing was done, that's the time that Aditi asked me, the voice of silence asked me, now focus on spiritual science research. You got to move out of this particular place to do something for which you have taken birth. That was another voice which was very clear within this. Time has come for you to do what you have come down for. This was only a preparation. Real work would start only now on 2004. When I disclosed that to everyone, that I'm going to close my clinic and I'm going to close my pharmaceutical concern and going to concentrate on spiritual science research only. And that idea was not understood, appreciated by anyone, including my wife, her mother, her sister, brothers, and her relatives on the whole, and my close relatives, my friends, and everybody. They were not very happy that someone who is so popular doctor, so popular industrialist, so popular otherwise, is going to take research into spiritual science which is unknown of the system, which nobody could understand. I can understand the concept because it is the area totally unknown to the world. Then at that particular juncture, everybody stood behind my wife and literally encouraged her to ask me for divorce, a mutual consent divorce. And that was very well supported by her mother, brother, sister, relatives, everybody, my relatives, my friends, everybody stood by her. I was literally one person against all of them, which is my inner circle already. And then based on that, I asked, what do you want? He said, we want a mutual divorce. I said, please take it. And I said, do you take everything? I'll move out without anything. But whatever I make thereafter, you will not ask me what I'm doing and what I will not do. Then I started a fresh life there. That is the beginning of a new chapter where question led to one life. But on the whole, mutual divorce was not my thought. It was her thought, everybody's thought. For whatever reason, I'm not getting into that. Then, August 20th, 2005, mutual consent was registered in Chengalpet court. And then same day, I moved on to Bangalore to start a new research in Nimhans. Have been living since alone 2004 itself. And it's an amazing golden opportunity to learn to do things on your own as an exclusive person who's not answerable to anybody, who doesn't have to work for the family, not for the wife, children, relatives, world as such. He's just doing things for himself, for his evolution to the highest level and move on to that. And I think that is sannyas, that is brahmacharya, that is the one which all of us should take at a stage when we start living for ourselves, not for the sake of others. I think that turning point could take something of that level. Let's understand that as such. Then I moved on to Nimhans, where wonderful work was done in a neurophysiology department. EEGs were taken, everything was done on me, but unfortunately they did not sponsor even postdoctoral research for me and did not give any opening to do. So after 3-4 months of trial in Bangalore, I had to move out to Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University, which is my hometown. You can see the picture of that. You can see me sitting there in this particular front seat itself. And Professor N.K. Bansal offered me ad hoc visiting associate professor post with 25,000 thing, and I could stay in the hostel in the building you can see and be comfortable there. I joined on 22nd November 2005. I think that was a turning point of genuine research thereafter. But first 3-4 months I did not know what to do because I'm a medical person, a neuroscientist, and also a mathematician. doing in a technical university which has nothing to do with philosophy or medical science at all. But then something happened on December 24, 2005. I got up in the morning. I normally go for morning walk, and it was a cold place in Jammu at that stage, at the heat of it. And somehow I started getting chest pain and started sweating. I had come to my brother's place in Jammu. Then I asked my nephew that I think I am in for attack, so let's go to Government Medical College and Hospital Jammu. And ECG was taken, and I was investigated as a cardiac patient and admitted into ICU after preliminary things. That was very interesting, but very surprised. Very next day, all the cardiologists we came who were attending on me, they were surprised. You don't look like a heart patient. You're talking much more enthusiastic, just like a normal person. Do not show even single sign of that. How could this be? And at the same time, I have another very favorite nephew of mine, my cousin brother's son, Dr. Nindrabon, who is literally my student and just 1.5 years younger to me, came and showed his expression and said, I'm very sorry that you have suffered. And I told, don't worry about it. I am not suffering. This attack is nothing to worry about. I have a Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. And my journey has not even actually started. So I'm not going to die till I complete my work, and I'm just at a zero level. Hereafter only the work will start. So this particular thing is not going to come in the way of my reaching the highest level of universal consciousness. Heart attack has nothing to do with it. And I also made it very clear to him. It is a heart attack, I agree. It has been self-imposed because I want this particular divorce to stop. I don't want this to happen. Anyway, with that, but nobody agreed for any conciliation on that part. Anyway, doesn't matter. Then Iccha Mrityu, I told him very clearly, don't worry about it. I have Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. I have miles and miles to go hereafter. It is a conscious effort to stop my divorce. The ball lies in the court of my wife and others. No one can gain anything by going against me. And all these people who are turning out to be against me, trying to take me to this, would get nothing from me hereafter. Because what I gain is mine. And nobody can take that, come what may. That's also the message which I have given to the world. Do your karma to the best ability and give and give. You cannot get and forget. Nobody gets it from anybody. All the reservation, other things are children, of no use at all. Only when you do on your own is what remains with you, and others cannot even use what you do. And I've seen ever since my childhood who tried to take things hijack from me. Not even one person could benefit even iota of that benefit at all. So anybody who's stealing, hijacking and doing things is absolutely no use. And that was very clear there, because people have to work. And whatever I left behind, the legacy as a consent, was all dissolved into zero one by one. It had to, I had seen that vision even 10 years ahead itself. 2004, 2005 I left. In 1993 itself I had seen that is going to happen to the building, and it exactly happened 12 years later. That shows if you are born with the Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, you are for a purpose. You will be given the knowledge in dream form, in unconscious, subconscious, and you can even see many other things, and that is Chandogya Upanishad is talking about. First 32 years or 7th stage is the body, the waking consciousness. In dream consciousness also you can see, and deep sleep also you can see. In Turiya once you see, then all the things, and I have seen all the things 22 by 21 within myself, and I know it. And no one can ever gain anything from me other than what they learn from me and move on their own thereafter. If they're going to steal it and move it, it doesn't happen. It happened with that particular thing at that stage. Then I was made to come to Chennai for angiography and angioplasty because I had to go to 6 months later to Chingalpet to final signature on 19th January 2006. Mutual consent had to be signed, and everybody insisted, heart attack, no heart attack, whatever may be, you have to come to Chennai, have get your angiography, angioplasty done, and done with it. But then, that's is. So, Navi, then I am glad, as I have told you, I left without anything in 2005. Then I had a student, Sri Vidya, who was in Switzerland. When she realized that I have, she sent 1.5 lakh through her parents to me in Chennai for the payment of angiography and angioplasty. But now I am telling you, starting a Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. After all the index were done, angiography, angioplasty was done, ejection fraction was done with all the echocardiogram, and it was moderate functions with ejection fraction of 46% only, which was adequate, there is no doubt about it. But as on today, my ejection fraction is as perfect as you can expect it, and I've regained fully. So heart attack, although signs can be seen in ECG, but has no effect on my functions of the heart or the body and otherwise. I think that shows if you are with the Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, come what may be, you'll lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy life. Now, ejection fraction is as perfect as 61% with me. So, I am doing all the things which are unheard of with any heart patient. And nobody believes that I had a heart attack in 20 years ago, because they don't see me like that. I am maybe much more perfect than even the normal people by and large, and that is what is Iccha Mrityu Vardhan. They concentrate on perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, psychology. I am as good as 21 years today, 70 plus year life, but functionally 21 years, and that is what you are seeing today. And what picture I showed in Sri Mata Vaishno University 20 years ago, it hasn't changed in 20 years, as it remains the same thing. And everybody says, how do you maintain it? When you are a perfect person, you have Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, your food is right, and I don't take alcohol, I don't take smoke, I don't do any drugs at all. I lead with a natural life, with a perfect Brahman outlook, and I think that has results very well within me. After 19th January 2006, things were done. I came back to Sri Mata Vaishno University once again. Once I come back to that, this particular picture on the right side was done in Chennai in my nephew's office for a preparation as such of just like that. But finally, when I was asked to make a logo for Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Youth Festival, the first one in 2006, you can see the picture which I have made, and it was appreciated. This opened the door for me to work as such. Because this was understood, appreciated by everybody, I was made the Dean of Students and also member of Executive Council, Senate, Academic Council, and all the things started happening thereafter. And lot of the problems of the institution of Sri Mata University I resolved. And when everybody said we could not resolve you, how could you resolve? I said, जब इच्छा अच्छी होती है, नीति अच्छी होती है, नतीजे अच्छे होंगे. Have your intention clear that you want to be a perfect person, doing things perfectly for everybody, everything will turn out to be perfectly fine. And I think that was a learning lesson for me and the university. This was the entire starting point. But quite a few things happened. I don't have to talk much, but few things, one or two things I would like to talk. This is the logo of Sri Mata Vaishno University. You can see on left side. How I converted that as a logo for Sri Mata Vaishno University, which I was given to make the first annual report 2007, and this was one man job alone. Me as editor, one man editor and chairman of the university publication, I was given full freedom to do this, and I was answerable only to the vice chancellor, not to anybody else. And the logo was created. That logo literally became my last logo of the particular videos itself. And that was a turning point, and everybody appreciated. And I think I'm thanked to Vice Chancellor and all the people for standing me. Even today's annual report of Shri Mata West University start with this work. Everybody is talking only about my work, not anybody else. I think that was another thing which was remarkable. And this is the picture which is there. You can see the right on top is right from the same symbol, and how I improvised and showed that is within the brain. And that is what I explained. And I connected Tantra picture and also the medical symbol with this and talked about, I think, this amazing. Now, two books were written, and she, Mata Vaishnavi, had called me there only for two books. One, Living Divine Mother in 2008, beginning, and Mata Vaishnavi 2008 at the end. And once the two things were already done, I think my job in Shri Mata Vaishnavi was over, because she had called me for this work alone, because she wanted to reveal that she is goddess Durga, taken birth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, and come to this place to rise again from goddess Durga, Mata Vaishnavi, to goddess Durga, to Gayatri, to Adi Prashakti. As such, I have already spoken about it, कि goddess Durga has got 18 arms, not 8 arms. And I think that was a beautiful thing. And having written those two books, my job was done. Then things did happen. Then I was literally asked to leave that place on my own and come back to Chennai once again in 2009. When I came to Chennai, I joined in 2009 Chettinad Academy of Research Institute, or Chettinad Medical College and Hospital, joined as a tutor. I was the most eligible professor, but no experience in medical college. Although I was more qualified than the Vice Chancellor, more qualified than the Dean, more qualified than the professors, but I had to accept the post of a tutor with a 35,000 rupees in February 2009. But I am glad within 7 years I created so many records in Chettinad University. They had to give me 4 promotions, from tutor to assistant professor, assistant to associate professor to professor, and that was acknowledged by Medical Council of India step by step, beautifully, from 2014 itself. It may look coincidental. It was 2014 I got a letter from Medical Council of India that I am eligible for promotion. And then I think there was never end. The records which I created in Chettinad in every level is phenomenal. And no university in the world can say the first successful PhD candidate, first synopsis, first thesis, first result is done by a candidate who has 9 publications, 6 of them in Scopus, and all the 9 are already published. Was a phenomenal for the first stint of any university. Even today I say, when your intention is good, you'll get the right candidate, things will turn out to be good. Only you have to be honest to do your work sincerely, truthfully, conscientiously. It's not a copy of that. The work done by Prasanna Priya Naik was not copy of something. It is an effect of oxidant and antioxidants and aluminum induced toxicity, and that result one by one was phenomenal, and people can take that as such to further research how with antioxidant like vitamin E itself you can cut short an aging process. All the effects of anything including alcohol, you call it, anything which is oxidative in nature, including aluminum, can be reduced with antioxidant. I think that's phenomenal work. Hope people listen. But I'm glad that he could, step by step, after finishing this, taken as associate professor in All India Institute of Medical Science, Jodhpur, became a professor within few months, and now continues to do very well. And I'm glad when your intentions are good, you will rise with the people who are in tune with universal culture. I think that was a tremendous enlightening. Keep your intention good and things will be fine. Then come to the question, when came to Chettinad from 2009 right up to my another 10, 11, 12 years close association, I learned the art of unlearning and relearning sciences completely. I was there to see what I had studied in Madras Medical College, what I had practiced for 30 years was very different from what is being taught today. Every book was so defective, anatomy was defect, physiology was defective, biochemistry was defective, all the things were very defective. So I had to literally, to explain the student all the 64 arts and sciences, I had to start intelligently one. This is what is written in the book, this is a defect, this is how it is, this is to be done. I think that was very interesting thing to unlearn self which was defective and then relearn perfection with Divyank slowly one by one. I think turned out to be an amazing thing where I revealed things about medical science which are not done anywhere in the world. My EEG 8 hertz frequency throughout the brain with eyes open is one thing. Female menstrual cycle, or for that matter everything which I am talking about, human anatomy, physiology, biochemistry is impeccable wisdom, and that is what I want to share now. I've been doing it, will continue to more classify things as go on. But I've also had the pleasure of starting a school of health and yoga in 2011, and what the message which I left for MSc program is a phenomenal. Even what I left for PhD students and other medical students, dental, I think it was phenomenal contribution for the self evolution as well as that. Now you can understand, when you are born with Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, heart attack or any disease does not happen, does not stop you because they are immaterial. When you are chosen for a great work and you move on with that, nature will make sure that you are perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. Now you can understand how a statement in Jammu in 2005 and 20 years later, you see, from what I looked old enough to get for heart attack, and 20 years later I look much better than what it is, and all my biophysical parameters, anatomy, physiology, biochemistry is as good as when I was 21 years. I think that was the thing. At the same time, starting thing again step by step, leading to impeccable wisdom was there. And the conception of Divyank was also done in Chettinad in 2014 and 15 is also there, and also create many unique products for the university. And I learned how to improve my own health. And when I started teaching about anatomy, physiology, biochemistry to all medical students, dental students, nursing students and allied health students, it was interesting to see the younger generation was much more interested in understanding impeccable wisdom rather than the rubbish in the books which they themselves did not agree. I think that was amazing, and that is what share I'm experiencing with everybody. Now to come to question essence. And I talked to Iccha Mrityu Vardhan in 2005 for the first time. Now I am following Goddess Aditi in every way from 1995 only, and of course Mata Vaishnavi since my childhood. She is guiding effectively. It required sages. Every day a new refined chapter is added to the videos and my writings otherwise, because every time I write a lot, me in tune with Aditi, I learn from her, then translate into the impeccable wisdom and then share with the world. It is, I am only a mouth of Aditi, and that is what it is, and I think that is what Iccha Mrityu Vardhan is. If you are with Aditi, she'll give you Vardhan after that. And she has also given Vardhan that I can have Akhandata, subject of all the nature completely at will, and nothing is short. I think that shows. And this is the research for the people, and I'm sure with Divyank, people will have the perfect anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, which I'm going to do it. People can do research in physics, chemistry and other subjects with the Divyank as such, and then they'll go on to move on to the next level. And I think that is going to be a uniform, brilliant education for all the people around the world, which is going to happen as such. And that's why Iccha Mrityu Vardhan is given. Till you achieve that, you are going to do it wonderfully, very well. And I think let's leave it at that. Now, having come to this particular stage, this is a symbol which has all the wisdom till date. And as I told you, the symbol is same thing which I translated in Sri Mata Vaishnavi University is used here to complete the journey of Shibhushan Sharma from Mata Vaishno Devi to Aditi to Goddess Gayatri to Adi Prashakti to Goddess Durga and to the whole universal consciousness, everything I learnt within my body, and that is what I'm sharing. So you can understand why, if Vishnu Pitama as great grandfather did everything for the kingdom, Hastinapur, and I think Shiv Bhushan Sharma is going to do for education for the entire universe, and I'm going to do that, and I'm moving very well in my answer, but I'm not using any of the medium which the world uses it, because they asked me to change it, which I'm not prepared. So Quora answers are one side, and videos are thing which I have my copyrights. Nobody asked me. They can delete it if they want. I have no issues at all. But let's leave it at that with the perfection, and let the students of next generation or this generation find it useful, do the research and prove it to the world in their own way, the impeccable wisdom of Akhand Vidyashram. I think that's where Iccha Mrityu Vardhan has come to me. So I am sure now you agree. We are going to die, agree. But this work will be remembered for generation. When I say Maharishi Yajnavalkya's statements, these three, he is also alive, and so am I. So with all the great saints who have contributed towards science, mathematics and subjects, for the West, North and otherwise, they will all alive because they have talked of this perfection. And that is what Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, with not me or Vishwa Pitama. I think every human being has the right, the one who listened to Aditi within that, truthfully and conscientiously, has the Iccha Mrityu Vardhan to live comfortably. I see many wise people around the world who even their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s doing brilliant work. And that is what Iccha Mrityu Vardhan is, because they have the drive to give the work perfection. That perfection gives you Iccha Mrityu Vardhan, because they will not die till they complete it. And I make it very clear. It's given to everyone. And you, if you flow with the nature in the honest way, you will live for generation and generation to come. And that is what is Mrityu Ma Amrit Gamaya. And I think having explained that, I think is enough to make a sense of the statement that from death to immortality is what Iccha Mrityu Vardhan is. And I'm sure you would agree. Thank you very much.